What's up, guys? Viking Reefing here. We are back at my buddy Thomas's place. The last time we visited, we completely redid his lighting. We got these Geesman Aurora V12s mounted over here. And today we are back. We had a different project. We did the cabinetry around the tank. This tank has been set up for about 5 or 6 years, and we finally got to making it pretty. I'll do some close-ups here as well. The last time I was here, I didn't really have time to go in depth in this amazing system, and that's what we are going to be doing today. Not only does Thomas have an amazing display tank, chock full of large SPS colonies, he also has a completely insane sump room in his basement. So first off, we'll have a look at the display tank and the ins and outs of that. And after, we will go down to the basement and check out his sump room. So tag along. As you can see here, this is expanded PVC foam that we've used to make the cabinetry, and we've mounted it with magnets all around. Since Thomas also has 2 overflows, one on each side here, as you can see. So we've hidden those behind these panels as well. There's still some work to be done. As you can see here, not all of these are completely aligned, so that's some work that we will continue doing. And here we have Thomas. He's doing some finishing touches on the cabinetry. But just look at this. This came out so freaking great. I'm extremely impressed on how well it came out. And I think that the overall focus is much more on the tank itself now. It looks like a picture, basically. And the tank in itself is very large, as you can see. And he doesn't have any pumps inside the tank. It's all the flow is coming from these closed loops. Sea swirls, as you can see here, so it's an exceptionally clean looking tank as well. And one thing that's hugely impressive is that this one is actually managed to drill a hole through this bracing. So he has one pump coming here, which was very innovative. One additional feature, which is very interesting with this tank, is that he has glued a back to nature background on all sides of this tank, even on the bottom, as you can see here. And this is something that I wish I thought of. Instead of a bare bottom, you can see here, this looks freaking amazing and much more natural than a bare bottom. Since he has a closed loop, he doesn't really need any places for sumps here. Something else that's very impressive is that the complete aquascape is hardly touching the bottom. He made this out of fiberglass. And close up on the big Imperator. He's stealing the show here. But as you can see here, everything is lifted off the ground. So not only does it give a lot of hiding spaces to all the fish, it also gives free range for the flow and stuff, not to be hindered by a bunch of rocks. So there's not a lot of detritus collection. There's one spot back here that does collect some detritus, and the feather dusters are loving it. Thomas is a man of my own heart, so he has several angels in here as well, further disproving the myth that you can't keep angels in a reef tank. So he has a big Imperator here. He has a majestic or Navarcus angel, which is hiding now because I scared it. He has a regal angel, which you just saw there, and a gold flake angel. So obviously, you definitely can keep angelfish in a reef tank. And he also has several LPS, and as you can see, no worries. And I guess the star of the show is this huge Sohal tank. This big boy is I'd say that it's close to 30 centimeters, and it's probably completely fully grown. Just look at the size of this thing. It's ginormous and so freaking beautiful. Makes me want to get one. But yeah, I've had my experience with my Achilles, which love to kill new arrivals, so even though they are extremely beautiful, they do have some drawbacks. So let's go and have a closer look at the corals. Here we have a Hydrophora. He used to have a very big piece of this. It basically took up the entire freaking corner here. If you saw the video when we broke down Svampa's reef tank, the oldest probably reef tank in Europe, he had a huge piece of that sitting in his tank. I believe it weighed 15 kilos or something, and that piece came from Thomas's tank. If you haven't seen that video and you want to see me nearly killing myself, give that a look. Here, as you can see, tons of torches. Here's a little bonsai acro that's from my tank. I have one of these from Thomas's tank. That's a Gomezi. I believe this is a red planet. This one will be very nice once it grows out. That one. Some sort of a millipore, I guess. This red one here, I believe it's called a red diamond. I have that in my tank as well. Back here, if you could just move a little bit. Come on, buddy. That bastard. Back here is another piece that's a very high-end acro, which will probably look stunning once it grows out. And as you can see, I mean, the just amount of coral in this tank is freaking nuts. Another Millie, another red planet here, Lobo. And here are some torches that are originally from my tank. So this one is a Hellfire. I think that was like 2 heads when he got it from me. A Holy Grail back here. Unfortunately, he had some bacterial issues with this specific coral, so he lost a couple of heads. That's why he fragged it up as well, to see if we could save it. This one is a Torch of the Gods, also from my tank. I believe this was 1 head when he got it. And yeah, the lighting is 2 Geisman Aurora V12s, the 120 centimeter variety, and he opted for the extension modules as well, the deep sea variety, so we get some more blues into this tank. And since mounting this light on this tank, his consumption has gone up drastically. So he's really pushing his calcium reactor to the limit at this point. So obviously, the more the light, the additional light, and more the spread made a huge difference. So I'd say that this is one of the most beautiful tanks here in Sweden, and certainly one of the ones with the highest coral load. But yeah, the tank in and of itself is freaking beautiful, but let's check out the sump room that runs this beast. So now we are in the sump room, and I guess this is where the magic happens. So you see these 2 pipes coming down here. They go through the floor from the overflows. Then water travels into here. And this is very smart, because if a fish or something gets caught into the overflows and goes down the drain, it will get caught in this section. So you can just catch it out. Then water travels over this glass pane, down the socks. It goes here and into the roller filter here, which is over here. It's a telling roller filter. And then it goes down to the refugium, and these are just standard like plant lights and shit. That's an actual refugium light, an AI blade, but these are just standard stuff. Funny story, this Catomorpha came from me, and I gave Thomas Catomorpha in like 3 different times or something, and always died. Yeah, so the iron was very low. So then he sent out an ICP test, and as you can see now, seems to have fixed the issue. One thing that's very good that Thomas also does, since he's conducting a war on detritus, is that you can see in every section here, he has pumps, so there's no detritus settling anywhere. And he also made a very cool contraption out of a J-bow return pump. And he glued a bunch of PVC, so you can see here the flow in the refugium. It flows down the bottom and also from the top, so that will make not a lot of detritus and stuff settling in here, which is very impressive. And then you can see here he also has a overflow here, which goes down here. If we follow this, it ends up over here. And it goes into this, basically like a collection tank or something. There's not a lot of stuff going on here. I guess you could probably use this as like a separation chamber or something for fish, if you would want to do that if something gets injured or something. But this is basically just a intermediate tank which feeds the skimmer. And Thomas has a slightly insane Bubble King skimmer. As you can see, an external skimmer here, a lot of coralline. So you can see my hand versus this beast. This is probably one of the biggest skimmers I've seen someone having in a more home setting. So you can just see the thickness of these pipes here. The main supplementation to this tank is coming through a calcium reactor. And as you can see here, he is pushing this calcium reactor fairly hard, since his consumption has gone up dramatically since we got new lights. Probably need a bigger calcium reactor soon, because this is kind of undersized for the amount of corals that Thomas has. And since Thomas is slightly insane, here you can see normal people will generally have something like this in terms of a CO2 tank. I believe this is the same thing that I have. This is 5 liters or something. Lasts a decent amount of time. Well, what Thomas does, he buys this freaking insane beast, which you can hardly carry, so you need a freaking trolley for it. But then you won't need to change it all that often. And the calcium reactor is being fed by this Camor pump here. So moving on, then
it's a smart feature in the skimmer is collects down below. So I just modify it so I can tap off the water with the crane.
Oh yeah, so you can use the waste here. It travels down here, and you can just open up this valve here, and everything goes into here. That's very neat. Very smart. I actually didn't even know that was a feature here. I learned something new today. And yeah, he has a bunch of dehumidifiers and stuff, because obviously this amount of water will get kind of humid down here in the basement setting. He also has a tank with actual live rock here, just for more biological filtration. Live rock is essential. And he also has a drain here if you ever wants to drain straight into the sewage. But yeah, then water travels through these pipes here, goes into here, and then we end up here in the very last section of the sump. And here he has the same UV system which I run. It's a TMC 110 watt unit, Pro Pond Advantage. An additional sock to get rid of detritus. Yes, also has an algae reactor here for even more nutrient control. Something that Thomas was very hesitant about, which I badgered him on for a system like he has. Well, both a UV, but ozone. And I think he's pretty happy about having ozone now, right?
Yes.
So, and here is, this is basically just an ozone reactor. That's why it has carbon on it as well. This skimmer here, it's an old KZ skimmer, I believe. Thomas used to run his entire system on Zeovit with all the little blue bottles and stuff like that. Doesn't do it anymore because it's just so much work. Here's the return pump. He used to have two separate return pumps, the Vectras from Ecotech, but he didn't really feel the need to have that. So now he's just running a 12K, I think it's a Blau or something. Yep. And here's some additional dosing if need be, if you need like bump up your calcium or alk or something like this. Just some controls here.
Go in nitrate.
Oh yes, and then he also doses nitrate here as well. I'm going to try to dose urea, so we've just discussed this here, me and Thomas. I'm going to be the guinea pig and see if we can do something, because I've read some articles. Urea dosing should probably be more advantageous than just nitrate dosing. And if we go in here, we have a chiller in here. More reefing stuff. Here's a phytoplankton cultivation in this tube here. RODI setup. It's a SpectraPure, very good RODI unit. Additional reefing goodies in this cabinet down here. More reefing stuff here. And something that we've also been discussing due to his high consumption is kalkwasser. So he will be setting up a this barrel here for kalkwasser dosing, and that will also be done by a Camor pump. But Thomas isn't just a reefer. He has a bunch of other interesting... oh yeah, and here's his mixing station. So, fair amount of water as well to be had here if need be. And Thomas collects gas masks, among other things. So this is his collection. So if something happens in here, he has a ozone leak or something, he can throw one of these things on. And Thomas has a bunch of other interests as well, which we also share. So he's also a biker, as you can see here. We both love guns and shooting. As you can see, he reloads himself here. Bunch of stuff. And here is all his biking goodies over here. Some clothes and war memorabilia, just generally scattered about everywhere. So you can find everything down here. Everything from like the First to Second World War. You got German stuff, you got Russian stuff, you got Japanese stuff, you got everything down here. So if anyone would do like a World War II reenactment or something, I think Thomas is very well set up in terms of stuff for that as well. So yeah, this is probably the most impressive sump room that I've ever seen belonging to someone who doesn't have a public aquarium. And Thomas, like myself, is kind of obsessive, so you can just see that shining through in every part. Everything is very well thought out to just minimize maintenance and hassle. But yeah, this is an insanely impressive setup. Thank you for letting us have a look at it, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.